Hey, welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that walkthrough of the product owner. As promised, we're now going to jump into the accountability known as the Scrum Master. Todd, where do
Yeah.
we start?
Let me hit the jump button, Ryan. Let's hop
Jump
down
on
here.
in.
Yeah. Scrum Master. Here is a loaded statement from the Scrum Guide. Accountable for establishing Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. Wow, that's a really loaded statement, Ryan. There's a lot to unpack there. Let's start unpacking it.
Yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to put up here, Todd, is that the Scrum Master is clearly accountable for Scrum. Remember, the product owner had value. Scrum Master clearly has Scrum based off of that statement.
Yeah, and by Scrum, you could very well say that they are accountable for the Scrum team's effectiveness, right? Accountable for the Scrum team's effectiveness. That in and of itself is a loaded statement because there's a lot of things that a Scrum Master can do to enable the effectiveness of the Scrum team. And we talk about the Scrum team where there's three different layers here that you can work at, right? You can work with the effectiveness and help the product owner. You can work with the developers, and you can work on the broader organization, which I think we'll come back to in a bit about the three levels of service of the Scrum team or the Scrum Master.
I think one of those ways, in a practical sense, that a Scrum Master can help, especially at the organizational level, is removing impediments. Right? If you notice here, this comment is that removes impediments that the Scrum team cannot remove on their own. So that means we're not just ordering the coffee and making sure the donuts are there. The team can take care of that. But when there's a serious issue in the organization, one that is causing delivery to slow down or to be blocked, that's when we engage with leadership, with management, with the different departments as needed, and we figure out how do we get this organizational impediment out of the way so that our Scrum team can be more effective at delivery and adding value to product.
Yeah, and Ryan, I like what you said there and your emphasis on organization, because one of the things that a Scrum Master does is they lead, they train, and they coach in the organization. Right? There's things that could be happening in your organization that are stopping or prohibiting your team from being effective. And Scrum Master can go out and work on those things, whether that be the way that your budgeting works, right? It could potentially be the way that HR is structured, and maybe you have too big of a hierarchical structure that's slowing you down, or your departments are segregated by domain and capability. All these things can lead to being prohibiting the Scrum team from being effective. And that's where service to the organization is a big part of what a Scrum Master does.
Yeah, and it's also going to influence a lot of the stances that a Scrum Master is going to adopt, right? In order to work through these issues, Todd, we've had to be facilitators, coaches, teachers, change agents. We've talked about training and leading. All these different stances are essential so that we're able to, in the moment, decide how best to show up and to help people through these issues and situations.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm just going to reemphasize here the different levels of service and how that might happen, and the different levels of areas where you might take any one of these stances, which are just a few stances, right? So you might be a facilitator for the developers if they ask you to come facilitate an event or something that they need help with. Same with the product owner or the greater organization. All these stances can be taken at any one of these areas, right? So as a Scrum Master, you have service to all three of these areas, which enables you to help be accountable for the Scrum team effectiveness. It really enables that effectiveness when you're serving these three different areas.
When I hear about service, Todd, I think about true leadership, right?
Yeah.
Or what used to be called in previous editions of the Scrum Guide, servant leadership, right? This idea that the Scrum Master, it's really not about the Scrum Master. Nothing about this accountability is about you. It's all about what your Scrum team needs, what the organization needs, what the stakeholders need, and then using the stances and the other activities that we've mentioned to make those things happen.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think this is clear. I think from a practical sense, people ask us quite a bit too, Todd, what does it mean to actually be that true leader? How could that show up in an organization? I think the last note that we'll put up here is it's coaching the Scrum team, helping focus on creating high valuable increments that meet the definition of done. Right? I think at a larger sense, a lot of your work is going to be about high value, high quality, and delivery, and enabling people to get there and helping the organization and the stakeholders understand what's needed to make that happen as well.
Yeah, Ryan, all these sticky notes that I see down here that you and I put down here. You know what? I don't see?
What's that?
Things that a Scrum Master isn't. A Scrum Master is not a tool administrator.
Nope.
Right? A Scrum Master is not a secretary for your team.
I agree.
right? A Scrum Master is not the manager of your team.
Yeah, there is no positional authority for a
Yeah.
Scrum Master. It's all leading through influence. In fact, Todd, when you and I take on Scrum Master roles, which we are known to do, typically our access to the tool, whether it's Jira, Azure DevOps, Rally, whatever the tool is, we usually have it deactivated and disabled by the end of day one, and we typically don't log into the product or tool that's being built. We stay away from those areas because that's not our area of concern. It's about team. It's about organization. It's about these true leadership activities that we've just talked through. So let us know in the comments, right? Talk about in our community section, what did that last comment just mean to you?
Mhm.
Are you an administrator or are you a true leader? Let us know how that's working for you. And we'll see you in the next video where we talk about the developers.